Let's check out the papers. What's being said? World's best. There you go. They picked up on that quote too, didn't they, Greg, from Gareth Southgate? In a league of his own, Harry Kane. Let's get the reaction from Gab Marcotti, and really not your reaction, but maybe more the reaction in England. Has it been measured? I don't know if you agree with the guys. Not just a good result, but a pretty good performance too.
Well, it's really measured. I mean, I was speaking to some colleagues during the game, and obviously at one point England were getting relegated, so the media were all ready to go and pounce on them for going down, and all of a sudden, you get that you score off the throw-in, you get that late winner, Lingard off the line, and all of a sudden, they're the best team in the world again. What is really stunning, and what I haven't seen in many decades here in England, is, and Southgate touched upon it, is the absolute connection with the team, between these players and the fans, the sort of this relentless positivity that comes from the supporters, and it's very evident that it gives them a real lift, as well as probably also the fact that Southgate, at least up front, does have options. He does have dynamic players, and I think he showed it. Those substitutions, Ali, Sancho, and Lingard, each one of those guys contributing in their own way. I think there's still a whole bunch of holes to be picked in this team, but equally, they have something special going on here.
Hey there, everybody.
Ah, yes, he's back.
I didn't go.
No, well, yeah.
Full guns.
You have not been fully committed on this trip. Let's be honest. Even your outfit is not fully committed.
I mean, I've committed to the patterns.
Yeah, well, I don't know, but the socks have no pattern in them. And
the socks fit.
What is that?
It's bright, Yeah, I'm trying to bring some color.
I don't know what's happening.
I'm telling you, I didn't know I was staying up here this long.
Well, clearly.
So at least they're clean. Could be much, much worse. All right, let's get to the questions here. Connor wants to know, is Modric winning the Ballon d'Or one of the biggest crimes in football?
You know what's amazing? We get a question about the Ballon d'Or seemingly every day.
I don't know if I've ever had a conversation with any of my friends who are football fans about Ballon d'Or.
No. And yet it comes up on a daily basis.
Do you think that's our viewers, or do you think that's our producers picking the wrong questions? Who are we pointing the finger at here?
I have it on good authority that it's not our producer that picks the question.
Oh.
Yes, there are assistant producers in this show that sometimes don't do the job that they're supposed to be doing it, and they don't do it right. But that's their fault.
Gab, hyperbole here. Modric winning Ballon d'Or, a big crime. What do you say?
Well, he's talking hypothetically, right? Because he hasn't actually won the Ballon d'Or yet.
Yes.
I wrote a whole column about this. It's very good. I'm sure Ali's read it repeatedly.
No.
A long time ago. These are big popularity contests. They're absolutely irrelevant. You might notice that in the FIFA World Player Award, Ronaldo never votes for Messi, and Messi never votes for Ronaldo. Even though you would assume that at some point over the past decade, one might have actually thought that the other was actually pretty good and one of the top three. So if they're not going to take this award seriously, if they're going to go and they're going to vote for their pals and their friends and the guys that they want to win, i.e. themselves, why should we take this seriously? Why should we begin to care whether it's Modric, whether it's Ronaldo, whether it's Messi or Griezmann or Mohamed Salah or anybody else? The fact is, people vote for this for a whole range of different reasons. Many of the voters, I think, don't even particularly care who wins. They just hastily fill out a ballot. Let's stop spending so much time giving importance to this thing. Until Cristiano and Lionel Messi take this seriously, I'm not going to take it seriously.
People get hung up on it, don't they?
Yeah.
I don't get hung up on it. Have you noticed?
You don't care. The voters don't care, apparently. Why? Nobody seems to care, except everybody on Twitter.
When we have all these Ballon d'Or stuff, it drives me nuts. I just can't be bothered with it. I want to do the games.
And there's a
talk about individual players and the performances in games and World Cups and Champions League and domestic leagues and teams and coaches, but it's Gab said, I mean, like, you look at some of the people voting and who they vote for, and you can't really take it you can't really take it that seriously.
But it's obviously important to people because, in all seriousness, we do get this question, and whether we pick it or not for extra time, we do get it on a daily basis, a reference to the Ballon d'Or.
That's it. Ballon d'Or questions off extra time. That's it.
That's not coming from the assistant producer. That's coming from the executive producer.
Oh, well, Dan Thomas
Burley.
is not here. Dan Thomas is not here.
Dan?
I don't get involved. Do you know that?
Yep.
Certain people get involved.
Can't be bothered. That's saying something, because there's a really small list of things that you can't be bothered with.
Okay. I don't do this often. I'm going to defend Craig Burley.
Oh, yeah, okay, great.
He's not bothered. I tell you what, if you've ever seen Craig Burley on the golf course, what a man. What a gentleman.
Really?
Yes. Nothing like you see here.
Oh, it's TV. I'm just, it's my TV persona.
Yeah. Well, let's
I'm all right. I just can't. I'm honest.
let's bring it to the golf course.
I hate dishonesty. I can't. I'm not bothered about the Ballon d'Or.
Oh, and Craig Burley around a new puppy. Oh, that guy. That guy.
You have a puppy? I thought Dan has a puppy, right?
I went to visit the puppy.
Yeah. I mean, it's a cute puppy, Dan.
It's the kind of guy I am.
Yeah, I mean, heartfelt.
I'm a puppy visitor. That's what I do. Spare time. People go to all these soccer ex and all these busybodies go and speak and they go and do that, and then they set up foundations and do, they're going to help, they're going to feed the world. I go and see puppies.
One puppy at a time.
That's the way I rock.
Changing the
world.
One puppy at a time.
I'm not going to change now.
Next question. Who's a better midfielder? I'm guessing this isn't now, just generally. Modric or Iniesta? Ale, who's your choice there?
Andres Iniesta.
Very well. Craig?
Yes.
Iniesta? Gab, you want to make it 3 for 3?
Yes, I'm going to make it 3 for 3.
See, he's not interested in that question.
He can't be bothered.
I'm also. We're answering the question. We'll answer the question because people moan if we don't answer the question. However, I don't like comparisons. Nobody ever compares Messi and Ronaldo. I mean, maybe 3 times a week we'll do.
Yeah.
In between seeing puppies, we'll have a little comparison.
That's the thing about Ballon d'Or. It just always becomes that Messi-Ronaldo debate. Gab, this one is directed just for you.
Ooh.
Coming off the Italy-Portugal match where Italy played really, really well but couldn't finish. So the question is, who is your ideal striker for the Azzurri?
Vialli.
No, while we sit around and wait for the likes of Pellegrini and Pinamonti and Cutrone to live up to it, I say just sit back and enjoy this. I'm really loving the way they play. I don't particularly care if Immobile misses goals. I say you might as well go and play Bernardeschi when he's fit and not play a striker. I'm loving this. I'm enjoying this more than all those days when Italy were actually winning things by defending stoutly and conceding a million bad shots and having a Baggio or a Vialli at the other end. This is much better. It's so refreshing going out there and just battering Portugal for 90 minutes. And if you score, you score. If you don't score, whatever. You're creating chances. That's the whole game.
Right.
Creating chances. Modern football, Ali.
Okay, so take back the World Cups then. Okay, fine. Fantastic. You don't want it
anymore. That was then. This is now.
Okay, you don't want the World
Cup. That was 2006.
Anymore.
The game's moved on.
Okay.
Are you not worried, Gab, that if Italy make another pig's ear of qualification, that this Nations League might not give them the parachute that it could have done? I say might because I think Portugal.
I don't think they will make a pig's ear of qualification because I think they're actually really, really good, and they don't concede many shots. The thing is, they're still good defensively. They're not as good. But I just really think that the whole, sit back and defend and counter and something will come up at the other end. We see it in club football. Almost nobody plays that way because over time, you don't get results that way. You have to go and impose yourself on the other. Italy right now have players like Barella, like Verratti, like Insigne, who can go and do that. And I say go and play to your strengths. I don't want to go and see the stout defenders and.
We've reached a new level of absurdity with Gab. He just said that he's enjoying this a whole lot more than winning the World Cup. That's exactly what he just said.
I mean, were those his
words?
I
didn't say that.
No, what do you mean? You just say you enjoy this and the times when you were winning things. What? What?
I'm enjoying this more than all the years. I'm enjoying this more than all the years when Italy had this idea that, oh, above all, don't concede and let's just sit back and wait for somebody for Roberto Baggio to go and do something at the other end, because that football might have worked back then to some degree, but I also think it wasn't even as effective as we think it was. But ultimately, you have to play to your strengths. And in 2006, it was right for them to play a certain way, because you look at the strikers that they had back then, and they had Del Piero and Totti and Luca Toni. They could go and create out of nothing. And they had Cannavaro and Materazzi and Nesta and Gigi Buffon in his pomp. It all made sense back then. Now, they don't have those guys. Now, the only outstanding center back that they have is Chiellini and maybe Romagnoli one day, but he's not there yet and he's injured. So why not go out and play and try to impose yourself, which is what every other big nation in the world does.
Gab hated that Marco Tardelli moment in the '82 World Cup.
Yeah, he did.
When he hated it.
Yeah,
hated it, didn't you? When he scored that goal and he spun off with that celebration, beating West Germany as it was then to the World Cup. Oh, that was horrible.
Yeah. Who
36 years ago, the game has changed.
I know, the ball's square, pitch is a different size. It's 12 players in the field now, rather than 11.
Who enjoys winning the World Cup? I mean, honestly.
This might be an unpopular... I really enjoyed watching Italy play Portugal yesterday. I thought they were quite entertaining.
No, that's fine, but to sit here and say...
Not more than winning a World Cup.
Yeah, okay, there you go.
All right, that's all the time we've got.
That's it?
Yeah.
All right, let's go home then.
That's it. There's another question, but I think we've done enough heavy lifting.
Yeah. So
don't forget,
duty up.
You can catch us ESPN Plus.
Are you excited about this or what?
7 days a week.
Okay.
I need more matching jackets and less patterns. How do we explain how a Belgian team with Thibaut Courtois in net gave up 5 goals?
Very experienced Belgium side as well, but kind of one of the Achilles heel of a Roberto Martinez's team, club or country over the years would be poor defending, and that was just poor all round. They got outnumbered in the middle of the park in the second half in particular. He wasn't able to react to that. People not doing their jobs. I mean, this is a Swiss team. When you think about Switzerland playing, you don't think about high-scoring games. You just don't. And they could have had more than 5. I mean, I don't think it will matter too much to Belgium in terms of they will probably qualify as group winners when the draw is made in the 2nd of December for the Euro 2020. But it's still a blow to their ego. Blow to their ego that they're such a talented team and they were taken apart.
Yeah, the trend from Belgium coming out of the World Cup would have been, look, this team is here to stay. They're going to take steps and they're going to feature and they're going to be important in Europe. It doesn't quite make a whole lot of sense that they don't win this group, especially when you're leading the game 2-0 and you just mismanage the game, mismanage what you're supposed to be doing at that point. Difficult to take if you're Belgium.
Liverpool, Chelsea, neither. What would your advice be to Christian Pulisic?
Right now, I would say neither. And the reason being is simple. His trajectory in his career was one that had an upward trend, and that's still the case. But we seem to have hit a little patch here where Gab was just alluding to it, that Jadon Sancho is now featuring more than he is. And at this point is when you want Christian Pulisic to fight for his position, to go through that little bit of struggle and come on the bright side of it at the end. You want to see a growth and maturation from him, and part of growing and maturing at a big club like Borussia Dortmund is fighting your way back to being an automatic starter. When he gets to that point, then we can talk about him transferring and going somewhere else, a bigger club like Chelsea or like Liverpool, whatever the case may be. But until then, I just think it's important for him to get repetition, to work through this patch and make sure that he's back on the field.
It's good to be wanted.
Yeah, that's nice too.
It's also good to play.
Yeah.
And he seems a very level-headed young chap, but...
Would he get in the team at Chelsea?
No Liverpool. And here's the problem. You know, you've got to really be delicate with what you want, because you've got Maurizio Sarri, who will be under pressure at Chelsea to have success. The same as Klopp has it at Liverpool. There's no sentiment involved. He would be a good addition to those squads, in my opinion, because he's a very good player. But where's the game time going to come? If you've got Liverpool, you're not going to shift the 2 wide guys in Mane and Salah. Then you've got Shaqiri, who, by the way, was dynamite again for Switzerland today and who's played a part off the bench. Then you get Alexis Oxlade-Chamberlain to come back, who has played central, but can play wide because that's his natural position, and there are other players. And also, the story about Fabinho funding the move. Fabinho's a completely different player. So you'd be losing a holding sort of dynamic midfield player for a wide guy. And at Chelsea, you know, you've got the Hazards and you've got Willian, you've got Pedro and people like that. So it's a delicate balance, man, if he wants to move to another big club, because Dortmund are a big club. But if he wants to move to another big club in another league, he's going to make sure he plots that path carefully so that he's getting the game time that, you know, Ali was talking about.